After 40 years of marriage, my husband said he wants a divorce. I am 68 years old. My husband is 69. This year marks the 40th anniversary of our marriage. For most of those years, I considered myself fortunate. My husband was not only a provider, but a caring father and a supportive partner. That is why what happened recently shook me to the core. Just a few nights ago, over an ordinary dinner, he put down his chopsticks, looked at me with an expression I could not read, and said quietly, "I want a divorce." In that instant, I felt my whole body go cold. My ears rang. I could not believe what I had heard. We met in our early 20s and fell in love quickly. We didn't have much, but we had determination. Together, we built a home, raised 2 children, and supported each other through countless hardships. He was never overly expressive with words, but he showed his love through actions. When our children were little, he worked long hours and still made time to read them stories at night. On weekends, he would take us all to the park or help with housework so that I could rest. I often told myself, he may not say "I love you" every day, but I see it in what he does. That faith carried me through the decades. In recent years, especially after his retirement, I began to notice changes. He spent more time at home, but paradoxically less time with me. He would sit for hours in the living room, staring out the window. Sometimes he stayed in the bedroom for long stretches, lost in thought. He grew quieter. When I asked a question, he would answer with just a few words, or brush me off with, "Nothing's wrong, I'm fine." But I could sense something was wrong. The man who once filled our house with stories about his day and laughter with our children seemed to be disappearing into silence. That night, over dinner, I mentioned something trivial. "Shall we go grocery shopping together tomorrow?" He stopped, put down his fork, and said, almost matter-of-factly, "I want a divorce." My heart dropped. "What are you saying? Divorce? After 40 years? What does that even mean?" He sighed deeply, avoiding my eyes at first, then finally looking at me with a kind of weary sadness. "I can't keep living like this. I've spent my whole life as a husband, a father, a provider. But somewhere along the way, I lost myself. I feel so empty. I just want to live whatever time I have left for me." I struggled to understand. He wasn't accusing me of wrongdoing, nor blaming our children. He didn't mention another woman. He simply said he was tired, that his life felt meaningless, that he wanted freedom. I snapped back, through tears. "Do you think I didn't give up myself too? I raised the children, kept this home, stood beside you through everything. I lost myself as well, but I never once thought of leaving you." My voice broke, but he only shook his head. "You won't understand. I'm just too tired." I couldn't keep it to myself. I told our children. My daughter burst into tears. "Dad can't do this. Mom, you can't let him. Not after everything we've been through as a family." My son was quieter, more cautious. "Mom, I don't think this is really about you or about divorce. I've noticed Dad seems depressed. Maybe he needs help, not separation." Their divided reactions mirrored my own turmoil. Since that night, I haven't been able to sleep. 40 years of memories rush through my mind. The times he carried a sleeping child into the house, the way he fixed a leaky roof without complaint, the little jokes he used to make. And now, all of that feels overshadowed by one sentence: I want a divorce. I keep asking myself, did I miss the signs? Could I have prevented this? Or is this simply his selfishness after decades of sacrifice? I don't know the answer. I only know that the man who once felt like my partner in everything now feels like a stranger across the table. What scares me most is not just the word divorce, but the emptiness behind it. If even a marriage of 40 years can crumble in an instant, what hope is there for the promises we make in youth? I am left with this aching question. After 40 years together, can it really all end this way?
This story illustrates a painful but increasingly common reality. Late-life marital crises often mask deeper struggles with identity and depression. 1. The husband's perspective. The husband described feelings of emptiness and meaninglessness. These are hallmark signs of retirement-related depression. For decades, his identity was anchored in being a provider, a father, a partner. When those roles diminished, he may have felt adrift, unsure of who he was without them. 2. The meaning of divorce. It is crucial to note that his request for divorce may not literally mean he wants separation from his wife. Rather, it could be his way of saying, "I can't live like this anymore." In other words, he may want to escape not his marriage, but his inner emptiness. 3. Why his wife's feelings are valid. The wife's shock, pain, and sense of betrayal are completely valid. After 40 years of devotion, it feels cruel to suddenly demand separation. These emotions should not be minimized. At the same time, it is important not to misinterpret his plea solely as rejection of her. 4. Next steps. Before any talk of divorce is pursued, professional help should be sought. A mental health evaluation could reveal depression or another treatable condition. Couples counseling can provide a safe space for both partners to express their needs and fears. 5. The wife's role. The wife must remember this is not her failure. This is a shared crisis brought on by circumstances beyond either partner's control. Her role is not to blame herself, but to protect her own emotional well-being while encouraging her husband to seek help. In conclusion, a marriage of 40 years does not disintegrate overnight. What is needed is not immediate acceptance of divorce, but compassion, professional support, and a reevaluation of what both partners need in this new chapter of life.